Alright, so we are in the middle of installing this, or putting together this Eastwood benchtop blasting cabinet. And I've already found enough mistakes in the instructions that I think I'm going to go ahead and do an assembly video on this, at least with my take of how I think this thing is supposed to go together. So first order of business, in the instructions that came with it, there are 4 rolls of this stuff and 1 roll of the fat stuff, so you can see how thick this is compared to that. Now, best guess from reading the instructions is they say there is supposed to be 1 roll of 6mm foam tape and 4 rolls of 3mm foam tape. Okay, that sounds fine. The problem is the 6mm tape is LL, and at least as far as what I can tell from reading these instructions, LL is not called out anywhere in here. So we have MM, MM, MM. That's it. So nowhere else in here do they call for any foam tape. I am pretty sure the top of the cabinet would have some foam under there. Not listed on here that there's supposed to be any foam there, but that would be my guess, and that would be where the thicker foam goes because you need some compression there because it's got the latch on the front. So that's what I'm going to do. I put that across the top. The next bit that's wrong comes with these little guys. I go under the corners here, and the instructions call for the 4mm screw and a nut, as you can see right here. 4mm by 10 screw and a 4mm nut. Problem is they already have a nut on the back, so that's redundant. And if you look at the picture, it seems like what they're really talking about is you should have a washer on the top. And that actually makes sense because these holes are pretty big. Compare it to the size of the screw. It doesn't fit in there, but it's pretty close. So again, I think that's wrong. So we're going ahead and putting the washers on here even though they didn't call for that. Okay, a couple more observations. After figure 2 here, sorry, figure 3, it says fully tighten all screws at this time. I would not recommend that. As you can see, you don't have the top or the bottom panel on yet, so you don't know if this thing's square. So I would wait till this is on. And now it says tighten all hardware. I think that's the place to do it, not here. Okay, so I have the bottom on, the legs are on. All of the edges where the panels join together has this foam tape, so this thing should be pretty airtight, I think. I was looking in here a minute ago and I saw some light poking through one of the corners, but that's before I cinched everything down. I don't see anything now, but I'm going to go ahead and run a bead of caulk along the inside of these corners. Just the corners, I think. These edges probably aren't going to be an issue because I have all that foam everywhere, but right in the corners, it's a little tricky to try and seal that. And you can see it'll be pretty easy to get a leak right there, so I'm going to go ahead and seal those. Alright, so I think I was half right about that thicker foam. The lid already has the foam installed on it, but it does appear to be a thicker foam, so maybe they just give you some extra in case this stuff wears out. Don't know. The only problem I've had with quality control on this so far is this little tab was bent right here, so that arm was kind of flailing over here. No big deal, just bend that back into place. It looks like it's got a pretty nice seal on the top here. See, it wants to sit up there, so it's a good amount of compression to get that thing to close, so that's looking good. Alright, I'm almost done here. Just got to get the hardware installed in it, and it's done. Alright, so here you can see the daylight I was talking about poking out. It's only in that one corner, but if it's there, then the tendency is going to be to leak everywhere in the corners, which makes sense. So I'm going to go ahead and blast all those corners with caulk now. Alright, like so. We'll give that a try. If we have any more problems, then we'll proceed to add more caulk as necessary, but hopefully that'll do the trick. Alright, she's done. So it's got seems to be a pretty nice bright light in there. See how that works out. A couple things of note. That vacuum thing on the back, trying to get that seal on there was a nightmare. Ended up brutalizing it pretty bad, so hopefully I didn't create any leaks back there. But anyway, this is where you hook up your shop vac, and of course that's the wrong size for my shop vac. That's one of the, I don't know what that one is, 1.25 inches or something, whatever the small shop vac is. Of course I've got a good shop vac with the, I don't know what, 2-inch hose or whatever that is. So I gotta get an adapter for that, I guess. Everything else went without a hitch pretty much, other than the stuff that I already showed. The reason I went with this guy instead of the Harbor Freight was the Harbor Freight one had pretty good reviews, except for the fact that everyone that bought it pretty much said it isn't good enough as is. So it's cheap. They can be had for 100, 150 bucks, I think. But then immediately most people go out and they buy a new light, they buy a new gun, they upgrade the vacuum system, they seal everything all over the place. So they do a lot of work, and then at the end of the day they have something that's pretty good. This one had pretty good reviews straight out of the box, like you don't really have to do anything to it. I can't remember if people said they needed to seal the corners or not. I just went ahead and did it. Anyway, this unit is more expensive than the Harbor Freight. I forget what I paid for this. I want to say it was somewhere in the neighborhood of $250 to $300, but I don't really remember. You can look it up and find out yourself. This one is nice as well because it has this removable liner on the inside. So when this thing gets scratched up, you just peel it off and put a new one on. They ship you with some spares. So it should keep that glass up there nice and clear and nice viewable. These are really heavy duty gloves here. Hopefully there's not going to be any problems with that. Anyway, I'm not doing a test today because I just put it together and I got to let all that silicone cure up. But the first time I fire it up, I'll bring you guys along and let you know how it worked. Thanks. See ya.